My name is Lauren. If you don't already know me, I'm happy to get to know you. Welcome to a 30-minute balance challenge class. And despite you seeing me seated here, we're actually going to stand up. So go ahead, stand yourself up. In your home studio, before we really get going, I want you to think about the way you set it up for yourself. If you need to grab a sweater to make it feel a little bit more like the studio you're used to, light some candles, make it smell a little bit different than this space that you've really gotten used to at home. And once you've got your space settled, you've got yourself the right temperature, go ahead and find an easy, comfortable standing position on the mat. Bring your feet to about hip width distance apart. Spread your toes out wide. Notice that your hips are about above your heels and that you have a gentle curve of your spine. You can bring your hands to your hips. You can bring your arms up to straighten your posture. If you're worried you're sticking your butt out too far, this is a really great posture reset. So go ahead, lift your arms up. Notice how spine feels. Keep that same lift of the chest at the back, but let the arms go. Bring the palms of the hands to the front of the room. And breathe into your belly. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Still standing with that tall spine. Still spreading your toes out on the mat. So I always start class with 2 minutes of meditation. So standing is still an opportunity for mindfulness, still an opportunity to tune into the sound of your breath. Notice the sounds around you without judgment. Bring yourself into this present moment by just noticing and then letting them pass. You can keep your hand, one at the heart, one at the belly, or drop them to your sides. Let your gaze be soft. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, right arm goes down to the right leg. Left arm lifts up and over. Stick your hips out to the left for a full side body stretch. Inhale, gaze toward the ceiling. And energize all the way through your fingertips. Reach a little further. Your next inhale pulls your right arm up to join your left up at the top. And your left arm goes down to your left thigh. Right fingertips reach up and over as the right hips stick out to the side. Gaze toward the ceiling. Stacking your shoulder blades vertically. Stacking the lungs. Standing up a little straighter, but still getting a delicious side bend in here. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, palms together, forward fold. Let your head and your neck be heavy. Nod your head yes. Shake your head no. One more time. Nod yes. And then let the head go. Always got to end on a positive note, right? On your next inhale, rise slowly up to a stand. Bring your right hand to the top of your head, bring the chin down to your chest, and then roll your right ear toward your shoulder, using the hand to pull on the head ever so slightly and add more of a gentle neck stretch. Imagine sending your breath into the tight spaces in your neck. And with every exhale, allowing them to release. Switch hands. Ear rolls over to the left shoulder, chin down to the chest. Your right fingertips are pulling toward the ground, the same time that your head is going left. And that length adds more stretch. Come back to center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, palms come together and then forward fold. Interlace your fingers back behind you. You can extend your knuckles up toward the ceiling and straighten your arms. This is not possible in your forward fold here. You can simply grab onto opposite forearms and see if you can lift them toward the sky, stacking the weight of the shoulders with the arms above the shoulders to deepen your forward fold. This is using some gravity to open up the hamstrings and the low back, putting the weight into the balls of your feet. Just starting the balance challenge. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Bring your spine parallel to the earth, your fingers to your shins. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Nice. Whew. We'll do one more neck stretch before we get a little more active. Interlace your fingers back behind you and then tuck your hands into your right waist, okay? Got your hands clasped together, tucked into your right waist. Bring your chin down to your chest and then roll your left ear over to your left shoulder. You should be feeling another gentle neck stretch on this side. And then we'll switch sides, bring your clasped hands into your left side waist. Chin comes down, roll the ear over to the right. Bring your attention back to your breath, the rise and fall of your belly, the rise and fall of your chest. And release the hands, shake it out. We're going to get a little active. So if you have a sweater, you can go ahead, set that aside. Let's warm up. Inhale, sweep the fingers up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, plant the fingertips or the palms to the earth as your right leg shoots back behind you for a crescent lunge. Inhale, sweep the fingers up to the sky. All 10 toes pointing forward. Pull your shoulders away from your ears as your fingers reach up. Now, if you're feeling really shaky here, you can drop your back knee down. This makes it more of a stretch on your right hip flexor and less of a balance challenge. But today is all about balance. So I challenge you to stand back up, straighten your right leg, lift the knee off the earth. Inhale, reach forward with your arms. Sweep them down on your exhale. And then interlace them back behind you. And tip forward at the waist. Almost like a ski jumper here, except you have your right leg extended back behind you. Lift your chest just a little bit more. Beautiful. Release the clasp of the hands. Bring your hands down to the earth. Step forward. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Breathe in. Forward fold. Breathe it out. Inhale to rise. Lift all the way up to the sky. Exhale. Fold right back down. Halfway lift, long spine. Other leg, your left leg shoots back. You can bring your fingertips to the earth to allow for that. And once you have your feet set up, sweep it forward, crescent lunge. If you dropped your knee on the other side, go ahead, drop it down to the earth for a second, and then recommit to this lunge. Your right knee stacked on top of the right ankle, pointing forward, toes pointing forward. Lengthen the neck, draw the shoulder blades together. And then adding that ski jump sensation to the upper body. Sweep the arms down and back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Pull the knuckles toward the wall back behind you as you reach the chest forward. A lot of weight is landing in your right leg. Stay active in your back leg. Keep pushing back into the earth. You got it. And then release the arms. Forward fold, top of your mat. Allow the head and the neck to be heavy. Fold your arms like you're folding them across your chest, but just let them go. Now this is a vinyasa inspired class, which means we'll be linking breath to movement. So we're going to do that again in a vinyasa style flow. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, plant, fingertips, right leg steps back. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, lower the back knee. Inhale to rise. Exhale to sweep the arms back behind you. Inhale to interlace and lift. Exhale to fold. Stepping into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Long spine, deep breath in. Exhale, breathe it out. Inhale to rise, sweep the arms out and all the way up to the sky. Exhale to fold. Halfway lift. Left leg steps back. Breathe in and rise. Drop the knee on the exhale. Lift it up as you breathe in. Sweep the arms as you breathe out. Lean forward. Interlace and look slightly forward with your inhale. Exhale, plant the palms. Forward fold, top of your mat. Keep breathing. Halfway, lift. Forward fold, let go. Inhale to rise all the way up to the sky. Exhale, we'll pause. You can stay at the top of the mat, but I'm just going to pivot over to face you here. We are going to take a chair pose. So bring your toes together, press your legs in. Inhale, sweep the arms up and sink the hips down. In your chair pose, imagine straightening your spine, not sticking your booty out in space. Just tucking underneath you to keep your core engaged. And then take a peek. Can you see all 10 toes? You might need to bring your hips back a little bit so that you can look down past your knees. You have all 10 beautiful toes, or however many toes you have. I'm sure they're still beautiful. Feeling the heat build in your chair pose for 3, 2, and 1. Forward fold, release. Bring your feet hip-width distance apart. Take a forward fold. You can do the simplest pose we already did, fold your arms and just let it hang. You can do a variation here. We're going to do gorilla pose, which is where you take your palms and you place them underneath the soles of your feet. So bend your knees generously so you can get your hands all the way underneath your feet. Walk the toes up to the wrist creases and then roll your weight onto your hands. Yes, squish your hands and allow the bones of the feet to massage out the hands. This is a balancing pose, even though it's a kind of weird one, because you're trying to figure exactly how much weight to roll into your hands, rolling into the balls of your feet. To stretch your lower back. And then release. Inhale to rise. Sweep your arms all the way up to the sides and up to the sky. Exhale, bring your palms to heart center. We'll take an eagle pose. So take your right leg and wrap it on top of your left. Your right toes can come down to the earth like a kickstand, or they can continue to wrap around that low calf. When you've got your legs set up, you're going to stack your arms one on top of the other. Your right arm goes underneath your left. You can, if you have tight shoulders, give yourself a hug. Or continue the eagle wrap of the arms. Bring the palms together. Lift the elbows up, deep breath in. Sink the hips down. Imagine that your spine is flat on the wall behind you, that your elbows are up to the height of your chin. You've got it. Stay here. 3, 2, and 1. When you release your eagle, really open up like wings. Find a star pose, which simply means take a big stretch. Then we'll do the other side. Left leg stacks over right. Find your variation. Left elbow underneath the right. Starting with the hug, we're continuing to wrap around, palms reaching for each other. Inhale to lift the elbows high. Exhale to sink the hips. Can you sink your hips just a little bit lower and lift your elbows just a little higher? We'll stay here for 3, 2, and 1. Open it out like wings. Very nice. So balancing is really important for tiny muscles in your feet that you can't even see. Yoga is a sport we get to do barefoot, which means that the tiny muscles, the ancillary muscles that keep all your foot bones together, they get to come out and play. So we'll work them out, but you have to set them up for success. Spread your toes out on the mat. Get your feet planted beneath your hips. And then inhale your right knee into your chest. Keep the active foot lifted. Those right toes should still be flexing up toward the ceiling because if he's off the ground, he's not totally out of a job yet. This is going to help you out. Interlace your hands around your right knee. Pretty nice, pretty safe. We'll take the knee into the right hand and pull it out to the side, extending the left arm out to the left as a counterbalance. This pose is a hand to foot pose. So the full extension is to be grabbing onto your big toes and extending the leg. But if that's in your practice, go for it. We'll work toward that. But today, just settle for grabbing onto your knee and opening it out to the side. We're going to pass the knee from the right hand to the left. Draw it across your body. Keep those right toes flexed. Don't let them give up on you. And as you pull the knee across the body, you might get a stretch in your outer hip. That's ideal. Take your right arm out as a counterbalance to the other side. Beautiful. Come back to center. Your right leg is not done yet. It is going to shoot back behind you for airplane pose. So tip forward at the waist, extend the arms on either sides of your body, and kick that right leg back behind you. I'm going to flip around so you can see what I mean by that. From your hand to foot pose, you're extending your right leg back behind you. So it comes long, parallel to the earth. Arms go on either sides of the body, and palms as if pressing off tabletops. Find a lift in the chest. Flex the toes toward the knee. This is your airplane pose. Imagine the airplane lift of your upper body. If you stumble, if you fall, just come back in. Be gentle. Slowly come back to stand. And we'll take a pause here. Notice how you're feeling. My left calf is cramping at this point, and that just means that my left toes are clawing as I'm doing these balancing poses. So I need to remind my toes not to do that. As we get better at it, as we practice, those things will become a little easier. Other side. Left knee into the chest. Open it out to the side. Keeping your left toes flexed toward the ceiling. You can find a point that is not moving, an interesting part of the wall, and focus your gaze on it. That will help. Pass the leg across the body into the right hand. Get that outer hip stretch. Your next breath in, bring the knee to center. On your next breath out, find an airplane pose. Tip it forward, kick it back. Find a slight lift in the chest. If you remember what airplanes look like anymore after a year of not a lot of flying, remember that joyful moment of takeoff? Find that lift in your upper body. It's a little battle here happening between your left leg, which wants to tip you forward even more since it's lifting higher, and your chest, which is taking off. Come back to center and shake it out. We're going to do a challenging balance pose here since you've warmed up your toes. This one is one of the most difficult for me, so I prefer to use blocks. If you have any props at home, books, anything of the like, that will help. So set your props up in front of your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, plant your palms. They can either be down on the mat in front of you or on your blocks. Similar to airplane pose, inhale your right leg back behind you. This is technically your warrior 3. Blocks will help bring the ground a little closer to you and allow your spine to be parallel with the earth. Shift your weight into your left hand, left block. Open your hips up to the side of the room. Flex your right toe tips. Your right arm pulls you up to the sky. This is your half moon pose. You might be able to stay here without a block. Those props really help you get deeper into the practice wherever you are. Here comes the challenge aspect. If this is easy peasy, or if you just want to have fun with it and do a little more, we're going to add a quad stretch. Bend your right knee so much the right heel can almost touch the glutes. Reach back with your right hand, catch a hold of the top of that foot, and then press into the hand. So you feel a stretch all the way through the quads, the hip flexor. See if you can keep this shape. Lift the left hand off of the block. And then we'll unwind, release the foot if you had it. Forward fold at the top of your mat. Let's do a half moon on the other side, but first come up to a stand. Do a little rinse here. Exhale, palms to heart center. Forward fold, right back down. Getting yourself set up. Find a warrior 3, left foot plants on the wall, back behind you. Your palms are either on blocks or the earth, or pressed together at heart center. Finding half moon on the other side. Open the hips out to the left side of the room. Placing your hand beneath your shoulder on the right side. Lifting your left fingertips up toward the sky. Not judging yourself or your teacher if they fall. All part of the practice, right? Add the quad stretch here. If you're able to, grab a hold of your back foot. Kick into your hand. Lifting the right hand off of the mat. And then unwinding. Come to a forward fold. And stay there for a breath. Take your favorite variation of a forward fold. That could be crossing your hands like arms out in front of you. Crossing your arms like you would cross them across your chest. Of course, they're arms. And forward fold. Our last standing pose for today will be tree pose. Inhale yourself all the way up to a stand. Bring your right knee into your chest one more time. Place it on the inside of the left leg. Avoid placing weight in the knee joint. So what happens when you put weight and knee together is wee. Put your palms together at heart center. And inhale your arms up to the sky. And we'll switch sides. Right foot plants. Left leg lifts into your chest. Place it on the inside of your right leg. Hands come to heart center. Open your arms up to the sky. Now you don't need to put your left foot all the way up the top of the right leg. You can really place it anywhere along the leg. And fun fact, bodies are not perfectly symmetrical. So in yoga, once you start to feel a sensation, you're getting the benefits from it. You don't need to have the same shape. You need to have the same feeling on both sides. Go ahead and release your tree pose. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale to forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine. And fold again. Bend your knees, sink your hips, lift your hands off of the earth. Here's the challenge. Can you sink all the way down to the ground without using your hands? Whew. Nice work. We'll come to a bridge pose. Bring your feet flat on the mat. Your heels close enough to your glutes so that your fingers can touch them when you reach down. Inhale to lift the hips off the mat. You've got robot arms, so right angles with your forearms and your biceps. Here's the balance pose from bridge. Inhale, keep your hips exactly the same way as they are, and lift your right knee off of the earth. Exhale to plant it back on the mat. Left knee up, deep breath in, and plant. Inhale to lift the hips. Keep a straight line between the shoulders and the tops of your knees. Try that one more time with straighten leg. Straighten the right leg. Lift it all the way up to the sole, could plant on the ceiling. And then lower it back down, bending it when your thighs come to parallel. Other side, left leg lengthens, lifts all the way up to the sky, and then lowers. Lower the hips all the way down to the earth. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. Bring the soles of the feet together. We'll take a reclined butterfly. Dropping the baby toe sides of the feet all the way down to the earth, letting the knees open from. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Just notice how your body feels. Notice the warmth in your feet. You really worked out the ancillary muscles, those tiny little muscles in your ankles, all over your feet. You also did some good core work. You paid loving attention to the muscles that keep us balanced. You can stay here or extend your arms and your legs long for a final resting pose. It's so easy when you're at home to feel like you've done the work, to tune out at this point, turn it off, walk away. I encourage you to stay for a few breaths. Your last bit of balance work, last bit of balance challenges in the mind. Bring your awareness back to your body anytime it wanders. Anchoring on to any sounds you might hear. Sensation of this room. With a big, deep inhale, reach long overhead. Take a full body stretch. With your exhale, roll over onto one side, push yourself to a seated position. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Once again, my name is Lauren. I am so happy to work with you on balance or whatever you want to do. So reach out. We'll do more yoga. Take care.